Good morning and welcome back. You're watching World Talks and I'm your host, Klaudia Czerwińska. In his Rose Garden announcement during what was dubbed as the Liberation Day, President Trump said he will start a golden age for America and that it was high time for the U.S. to prosper. Tariffs were dealt left, right, and center, targeting U.S.'s trade partners, a cause for concern for many over the past weeks. Here to take a closer look at what's been announced and how this move will affect the EU-U.S. trade relations, I'm joined by Witold Orłowski, economist from the Vistula University and Warsaw University of Technology. Good morning and thank you for joining me on the program.
Good morning.
So, dubbed as Liberation Day by President Trump, Wednesday definitely brought a wave of tariffs. What are some of the major takeaways? Anything that took you by surprise, or perhaps the wider global economic stage? Who's been affected by the tariffs and how?
Well, first of all, it's not a surprise. Actually, President Trump has been telling the same things since many weeks and months. And the only question was that some people were eager to say that maybe this is just a negotiation technique, that he's not going to do it. He's just threatening the world to force the partners to talk and to give some concessions to the United States. If that was the case, I mean, it wouldn't be so bad, because every country has got the right to use its economic weight to force the partners to give him some concessions. It may not be a nice game, but just that's life. Okay. Unfortunately, what appeared yesterday was that President Trump was absolutely sincere in what he has been telling before. He basically was sharing with us the vision of the global economy, in which if a country is exporting, it's gaining. If a country is importing, it's losing. The best thing is to stop the imports, or if somebody wants to export to the United States, then tax him at such a high level that gives it billions of dollars to the EU, to the American income, to the US income, instead of delivering goods, delivering billions of dollars in taxes. That basically, in his view, the international trade was a way to steal the money from America, and that, for example, he already said that the EU was created to screw America, basically to cheat it on everything, and so on and so on. So this is a certain vision of the world, a vision of the economy in which taxes. Well, once again, quoting Mr. Trump from, I guess, 2 or 3 months ago. As he said, tariffs is the most beautiful word in the vocabulary. Well, let me say something like that. Anybody who knows anything about the economics knows that this is not true. That basically, and that's a knowledge that is common in economics has been common for at least 200 years, that if two countries cooperate, if they start to specialize in production, then both benefits. Obviously,
well, definitely. What's been the market response so far, I wonder, from your perspective?
For the time, please note that Mr. Trump did it at the moment when the U.S. stock exchange had been closing. So no reaction on American markets. In Europe, the markets hardly opened. This is bad news, but please note that this is not an unexpected news. So basically, I guess that we see it in a sense consumed already by the markets. Well, everybody is waiting. This is an earthquake. And answering the question, so what's the market response to the earthquake? It's a bit out of the proportions. This is a change of the game in the global economy, the change of the rules of the games in the global economy, and basically the reaction we will see over months and years. we will see obviously still it is possible that Mr. Trump, and that was the EU reaction, that we do answer with some countermeasures,
Exactly.
but we are still open for talks. We are still open for negotiations to freeze that process, or even to reverse it.
This is what we've heard on Tuesday, if I remember correctly, from Ursula von der Leyen, that there is definitely a willingness to have this discussion. But now the currents seem to be changing. As we've heard from Polish Prime Minister Donald Tusk on X, he posted, I quote, "Friendship means partnership. Partnership means really and truly reciprocal tariffs. Adequate decisions are needed." So we've had that response. We've heard from Prime Minister Meloni.
Let me make a comment on that.
Please.
Mr. Trump, obviously, he did it unilateral increase. By the way, absolutely absurd from the economic point of view. I mean, he added the VAT rates that are applied to all the products including the American products, obviously, imported from America, to the tariffs, and they landed with his advisors, landed with the information that the EU is taxing the American products at 40%. That's an absurd. The EU, with a small exception of some goods, basically is using the tariffs duties on the level of 3%, 4%, 5%.
There is a definite love of big numbers
not
there.
40. No, definitely. That seems to be a pretext to imply high tariffs on the European products. By the way, you notice that the country in Europe, the only country that is free from the tax increase is Russia. From the tariffs is American tariffs is Russia.
How very thoughtful.
Very interesting. Ukraine has got increase of tariffs, and Russia is the only country in Europe that doesn't have the tariffs increase. But coming back to the point, the EU is in a situation in which if the EU doesn't respond, then basically, there is no. Mr. Trump likes it. He said that talking with President Zelensky, you've got no cards to play. So probably his answer would be, okay, they accepted it, no answer. But that's good. Maybe we'll increase the tariffs for the next 10 percentage points. So it's clear that from the point of view of the negotiations, from the point of view of the discussion, Europe needs to do something. On the other hand, there's a terrible, dramatic scenario of a possible trade war between Europe, China, and the United States. A trade war that means America is introducing out of the blue 20% tariffs on all the European goods, with the exception of those ones that are taxed more heavily, for example, cars or steel. So Europe responds by 20% increase on American goods. So America applies additional 20% of European goods, and so on and so on. That's a nightmare that has already happened during the 1930s. I mean, almost 100 years ago. And the result was that the value of the global trade collapsed and fell by 70% over a 3 years period. So that's something Europe knows, the European Union knows we must avoid at any price. Having said so, I must say, most likely the European Union has got to do something to show, yes, we are ready, we are not, capitulating and accepting that we are ready for negotiations. It's a very tough
but to
situation.
That point,
because
sorry to interrupt you, but to that point,
okay.
We've heard from Antonio Costa, who on his X platform wrote this morning that the time has come for the ratification of the deal with Mercosur and Mexico. He also showed his support for the European Commission when it comes to economic negotiations and trade negotiations with the USA. So how do you think this is going to actually target U.S. if it comes to that? Do you think that this is a way for Europe, in a way, to show that this is what happens when you impose such tariffs?
Well, basically, the countries that are not doing it should work together to make the trade easier for them if the United States is making it difficult for everybody. But frankly speaking, if the United States, that is still the biggest single importer in the world, if the United States is fighting against the free trade, then the world will suffer in any case. I mean, there is no way to compensate it by the increased trade between China and Europe and Europe and Latin America and so on. Obviously, that is a certain reaction, but this is not the data. The United States has been not only, and from that point of view, one can understand to a degree, Mr. Trump. The United States was the biggest importer in the world, the biggest market open for everybody. That wasn't cheating by the others, as he said. That was the decision of the United States for many decades. Actually, he's accusing normally the Democrats, but frankly speaking, probably President Reagan was and his economic team was the most open to the trade liberalization, full trade liberalization, and inviting the exporters. I mean, if you want to export cheap goods to America, you are welcome. So from that point of view, I must say that it's difficult to imagine the healthy global economy without the healthy relations between the United States and the rest of the world. And all the other moves are just, just a plaster on some medicine on the injury, but basically not solving the problem.
A Band-Aid on a gun wound.
Yes. Oh, thank you. I was searching for the idiom. And the point is that basically everybody is still assuming in Europe that Mr. Trump can be open for discussion, for the negotiations later. Having said initially that whatever is the result of the negotiations, the United States must clearly have gains on these negotiations. And so we'll see to what extent this is the end of the story and to what extent this is the beginning of the story, both either in the good or bad direction.
Most definitely. This is going to be, it seems to be, by the looks of it, that this might be a long chapter when it comes to this sort of trade-off of tariffs. Thank you so much. Witold Orłowski, economist from Vistula University and Warsaw University of Technology. Great to have you as always. And so this would be all for now here on World Talk. So please do stay tuned. We're back in just a moment. Diana Skaya has the latest breakdown of some of the latest headlines.